I don't think that should be an obligation either.
We're breaking cycles.
I know, we're breaking the right.
Who knew when I decided to go to Michigan for school, this was the domino chain reaction of effects?
I know, but it's like, in a way, it's great because it's great for everybody to be guilt-free and joyful, and not just like you can be joyful and you could be enjoying it because you're not here, but then you're feeling guilt about it. Like, no, let's eliminate the guilt.
True.
Broke it. Hello. Good to see your face before the holidays as we're gearing into the holiday season, which is so much fun.
So much fun.
It is. Happy almost Thanksgiving.
It's crazy. I know we're recording this the Friday before Thanksgiving, but it's going to be airing on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening.
And it's going to be here in a minute for the, from Thanksgiving to Christmas. That's the thing.
I know. It's always
because of Thanksgiving being so late this year is a little, we almost like lose a week because it's a late Thanksgiving. So
I know
it's so funny because right? It's late.
It's so late this year.
Because the weekend after Thanksgiving is when I'm having my friend's Christmas party. And usually we have like a weekend between there, or at least as I remember it. Anyway. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I figured in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we could talk about some Thanksgiving stuff.
Let's do it.
I have some ideas. We were just talking about the holidays right before we hopped on, and we were just like, why aren't we recording?
Yeah, we should be recording because there's so much insight when you think about holidays and how they have to change as you're used to a certain thing when you're growing up, just like me as a mom is used to a certain thing, and then things change and things adapt. So I would love to talk about this topic. I think it's going to hit home with a lot of people who are struggling with their grown children, weddings, how things have to change and why things have to change. So I'm excited to tackle this topic. I think I'm going to have a different perspective than a lot of people listening. So that's just a warning. So come in with an open mind, people.
All right. Well, I've kind of laid out some questions to kick off our conversation, but this could be how did we used to do Thanksgiving growing up, and kind of how has it changed to now?
Okay. I would love to talk about it from the standpoint of my childhood, then how it changed into my adulthood, and then how it's changing now. So in my childhood, that was very traditional. We went to this one specific aunt every single time. She did a very she loved the cooking and the presentation, and think Martha Stewart, because she was like that back in the day. And so everybody, we dressed up, everything was proper napkins on the table, proper silverware, like mega proper. And I have to say that because it is probably some of my best memories. It's probably how I learned to entertain in a certain style and maybe set my standards for that, I guess. Maybe good or bad, whatever that may be. But I just loved it. It just made it special. And so then having kids and then having my own family, it becomes difficult because obviously the times are going to change. That aunt got much older. She wasn't hosting anymore. But then it was like a new evolution of going to my mother's house versus that aunt's house when we grew up. So things did change. Okay. And what I will say about it, and I think thinking back on it, having young children, having my family, when it changed, I don't think that my first family, my main family, what do you call that? Like my parents, or whatever, immediate family, they were not as open to change, and didn't really. And so it was constantly trying to fit into that. Like we'd have to have the one family, like my family and Tom's family, and separate holidays, and everything had to be separate. And I never, in the beginning of this era, I never quite understood it because I thought, well, Thanksgiving, it's like we're giving thanks for everyone. Why does it have to be a given group? Well, we have to just do this family. And I always struggled with it. And I think maybe I was an out of the box thinker back then, because I was like, why don't we have our in-laws and like both of our families together for the holidays? But it had to be,
it's always separate.
This and I'll call it the matriarchy in this case, I know. So the matriarchy not being me, but my matriarchyhood of being raised was the family. And I don't know if that was like an Italian thing, but it was like, well, we're just going to be the family. Like, why can't other people be included in the family?
Yeah.
Why can't the family expand? Why can't it evolve? And that was never a consideration. So the holidays were always partly, this is probably why holidays and stress go together for me, because the holidays were always stressful, figuring out how we were going to get to both places, how we going to celebrate with two families, how we were going to get around, which then became three families because dad family being divorced. And then that was hurt feelings because we had to prioritize. We can only be in so many places on a day. And then also the Christmas holiday. So to me, it was always stressful. It was like, how are we going to get to all these places? And I thought, so unfair. Like, why can't now we have our family and we're growing, and why can't the traditions change? Why are we always fitting into someone else's traditions? Okay. So I recently saw a video. This is so important.
Okay.
And this is very important. And the video was, when your children get married, you're not getting another child. You are giving that child to a new family of their own, not their other person's family. Like, not in Tommy's case, wouldn't be like giving Tommy to Jenna's family or giving Jenna to Tommy's family. It doesn't work like that. It's like they are creating their own family. So now they can be free and joyful to create their own traditions. And maybe this isn't a popular opinion by many people who are trying to still like get the family together, which I'm still hearing as a person who has my own full family of full adults. I'm still hearing that from the matriarchy, you know? So it definitely is. I have a very, very different mindset about it.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if you go to Stephen and Tommy goes to Jenna and it's me and Tom on Thanksgiving. Okay. I'm okay. I'm honestly 100% okay with that. It may seem ridiculous, but it's true.
No, I feel like I just have like internalized like sometimes like guilt or pressure, especially being, I'll say for Thanksgivings and like holidays, obviously they've changed a lot, especially being like the child that doesn't live in the tri-state area anymore. So it is like a bigger factor when it's not just like, oh, it's a 2-hour drive. It's like, no, it's like a full day of travel now, and it's exhausting.
Yes. And it's money. It's money to travel.
Money. Yeah.
And it's time. It's more than a day, because it takes you a day to get here, a day to get back. Plus, what are you going to fly across and stay for a day? So it becomes like a vacation every single time you have to, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So I appreciate that you guys are open, because I feel like maybe not recently, I felt not like, I don't even know, but I feel like I've been experiencing pressure from you guys in a weird way. But I also know that I feel like part of it is maybe me just like
internalizing
it. Because it's like, if you're saying like, yeah, you're open to change for the holidays, but I'm like, I have to be there. Then it's like, maybe this is something like internal.
But I think also there's part of it that you have to be there because it's what your memory is to be, or how you relate the holidays. So it's going to take time for your mind to change. I'm also going to say, just for the record, that we are going to Tommy and Jenna's for Thanksgiving this year in the Catskills. So totally changing it up, and joyfully, Jenna's family's going to be there. So I was so excited to hear that, because I'm like, first of all, I love them. And second of all, like, now it's going to be time I get to spend with them. So that's kind of a bonus. And if it evolves sometimes where she's going to go to Long Island and we're not going, okay, whatever. I think that I'm so, I guess, what's the word when you're a product of what your problems were? So then you change those, you make it better for the next generation. But I'm a product of my past.
You're breaking the
cycle. And I don't think it's because I'm trying to break up family tradition or anything like that. I think it's just okay when things change. And I still have this issue with my own parents, who are my dad's going to be 94. My mom's 87. And still it's the guilt of them being not with us for the holidays. Oh my God, they have each other, thankfully. So shouldn't it be okay and enough that they have each other for the holidays? They've had so many family holidays. All of our years of raising kids, we always managed to make it work and get to the things, and the guilt that was attached to that. So sometimes it does get frustrating.
I feel like this is helpful, though, because I feel like this is the most direct you've been about it. And I feel like I know that I don't need I don't need anyone's permission, that I'm an adult, but like, I'm like, okay, Like I just feel like a weight is kind of like lifting off my
Oh,
psyche. Because I
that's
just feel
funny
like
because
I
I
know
feel like I
you
have
always,
said this before.
you are always direct, but then you're like, but you can like it's always like there's always a but, I feel like.
Well, because for me, I don't want to be like you're not invited. Like
Well,
it's not
I
going to
obviously
matter.
know I'm never not
Well,
invited.
but also it's not okay. But even further than that, I want you to know that obviously you'll be missed if you're not here. And people
Yeah.
like there's songs written about home for the holidays for a reason. People come home for the holidays. That's what they do a lot. That's what the world traditions have always been. But
Yeah.
they don't have to apply to every single thing. We spend a lot of good times together. I mean,
I
we
know.
do. We just had a sailing trip. We had a whole wedding week, and
I feel like that's the thing with this year where it's like I don't like usually Steve and I will come to the East Coast for like 4th of July and Christmas. And those are like the 2 times we come. We come for longer amounts of time. But this year I had seen you like I think for like 6 or 7 months of the year, I was seeing you guys like every month.
yes, it
To a
was kind
point-
of the running joke. See you in a couple of weeks every time
Yeah.
we leave you.
So I was trying to like relate this to somebody, and I was like, usually by the end of this year, I'm like, oh, I'm itching to get back to see everybody. Like it's been a while. And not that I don't miss you guys, but I'm like, I don't feel that like need
Yeah.
to like, okay, we just had like 2 weeks in Tahiti together. We just did 2 family weddings. We just did like, I did a, bachelorette, like we did so many things this year where it's
Yes.
usually that's not the case. So it's like, okay, maybe this is the year to like relax on the holidays.
Yeah. And this is funny because I'm glad that we're having this topic today because I was more concerned. So I know how I think of things and I'm a very forward thinker on all things. And I like to hear what other people's perspectives are. I like to know how you're thinking about it. But I was almost concerned when I was bringing this up to your other parental. So when I was talking to Tom about, I was like, oh, I wonder how he's going to receive this because he's more about like, oh, everybody has to be together. Like when you weren't coming for July 4th this year because we had just seen you, and he was like, what? They're not going to come for July 4th because he gets into tradition, routine. Like he knows, like he's more of a creature of habit than me. Like I'm like, let's change it up every friggin' morning for breakfast.
I am too. That's why I feel like I think I also have a hard time with it. Where like
Yes.
I also am like, well, that's what we do. That's what I do on Christmas.
That's
It's
what
like
you do.
Steven and I
And you-
cook. Like that's
I
the
know we're gonna miss
routine.
that. But that's okay. That's okay. I cooked for a lot of years. I know how to do it, so it's all good. And now Dad is cooking, and he's into doing it. So I think that. And so anyway, my point was when I mentioned it to him, and I thought because he said something like, "Oh, so do you think Stephen and Julie aren't going to come for the holidays this year?" And I'm like, I said, "Oh, I'm so glad he mentioned it because I wanted to bring it up, but I didn't. I was like, I don't know how to kind of." I don't, it's hard for me because I'll tend to like not take your side on a thing, but sometimes I agree with you more on a lot of things. We do stick together on a lot of things. So I didn't want there to be offense. So he was like, yeah, it's totally okay if it's going to evolve. I mean, Tommy's going to be and I was like, oh, thank the Lord. Like he is on board too. It's just that he didn't articulate it in the same way. He's more like, let everybody do what they want to do. The last thing we want to do, and he said this point blank, is do what we did when the kids were little, where we were running around like crazy people and ruining our own holiday because we were trying to we were obligated to everyone else and obligated to be here and be there. And it was, it's so much better if it's just, how can I guess I'll say, because we have Jonathan, we'll always have this childhood thing happening in our world. So I feel like, wow, look at that. You can always think like you're an autism mom, and a lot of people can think what the downsides are. But I look like this is a wonderful upside because I'm always going to have that childhood elf on the shelf. Like, the whole thing. He obviously there's no Santa, but for some reason he thinks the elf on the shelf is real. He actually wants to set up his camera, his GoPro. And I'm like,
oh my God,
don't do that. The elf won't move if you set the camera up. I'm like trying to straighten him out because I'm like, why are you kidding me? I know, it's so funny. But I think
get some stop motion animation in there to make it look like he's getting up and walking. You'll be spending
I'm
like 4 hours making a little
back
production.
I'll be editing a video on like 2 a.m. I used to be putting toys together. Now I'm editing a fake video for him to think the elf is alive. That would be so hilarious.
No.
But I do think like maybe that's an advantage for us, but it's also somewhat of a disadvantage because we'll never have that opportunity where we don't have to do that. So there's two sides to that story. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm just exhausted already. I have to get up and move the elf now, stupid stuff. I'm supposed to be past that point. But so it's funny. There's all sides of it. But I like the evolution, and I'm really, really good with the evolution. And I was thinking it's almost like a little bit of like pressure off that, like, because already I was starting to feel it. I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to be here the next 2 weekends. When am I going to get the tree? When am I going to put the tree up? I got to make I got to do the Christmas houses and all of the frenzy that happens. But to me, that frenzy is not necessarily a good frenzy. I just want to do the joyful things like walk around the city and see the lights and the city sites. Christmas in the city sites is more important to me than if I have every single thing in the house decorated properly. Like, I don't.
Me, I'm like, I want to decorate the house. I feel like, especially if we are, I think we're more like leaning towards.
You should decorate the house.
Because we never get to decorate because we always like come out and we leave in the middle of December. So it's like, why are we going to put up Christmas decorations for like a week? So this year I'm like, I want to buy decorations and I want to deck the halls and I want it to be festive in here.
Good. I'm so happy. And I want to see it, and I want you to love it and not feel like, oh, I feel bad that I'm here. Like, oh my God, it's supposed to be good vibes on the holidays. I don't know. I just really, really am okay with it. It's crazy. I know some of my friends are going to listen to this and be, because I know a couple of them, it's like the holidays are and everybody comes and it's the dinners and everybody, all of their kids are close by even with the grandkids and stuff. And it's a different thing. And I don't look at that and think, oh, poor me. No, I think, well, this is how I like it. And this is how my family is.
A big instigator of this shift, I feel like, was the pandemic, because it really shifted to like, okay, we went away from like really big family gatherings on Thanksgiving and Christmas to just doing like immediate family. And then even more so than that, just like, I feel like it lifted the pressure off of like, we all have to be here on this day.
Yes. It does. It did. It changed a lot of things, the pandemic, for the better.
Yeah.
I was thinking too about like how the Christmas evolves and how the memories are more stuck in your mind that it has to be this way. And I think even Tommy's case, Tommy, if you're listening, and Jenna, like you don't it's really okay if it changes. And you on Christmas, I didn't even talk to Tommy about this, so maybe this will be the first time he hears it, but if he wants to not drive from Long Island to Long Beach Island for Christmas, like that's okay. It can just be me and Dad and Jonathan here for Christmas, and we'll FaceTime or we'll like Zoom call or FaceTime and have like a little say hi to everybody.
I also feel like, especially because, for like the fact that you all live in the same area, it's like you don't necessarily have to do it on Christmas Day. Like you guys could have a Christmas Day with them on another day, like even in January. Like it doesn't matter, because it's like it's just whenever you guys get together and decide to like celebrate.
I have to tell you something funny that I know we were talking about like think about your favorite Thanksgiving memory, but I'm going to tell you one very specific favorite Christmas memory that I have. Are you ready? Because it's completely not what you're going to think.
Okay.
One year there was a crazy snowstorm. And nobody could drive.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Nobody. And so I want to say Christmas was canceled, but we had to move Christmas to like the day after or 2 days after Christmas. I remember this specifically. And I remember thinking, this is my favorite Christmas ever. Because it was just us at home having Christmas. Nobody had to get dressed in an outfit. We didn't have to get in a car. We didn't have to say, hurry up, you can't play with your presents now. You can play with them tomorrow. Because we got to get somewhere by 2:00. And P.S. God forbid we were a few minutes late, because I was late many times trying to get everybody dressed in these outfits. And I remember specifically taking shit one year for being like an hour late to something, whatever. I don't even want to relive it because it was just not good memories. But my good memory is the time I didn't have to do it. And I didn't have to feel guilty about not doing it. So it was completely being taken off the hook.
Yeah.
And if it's like, so this is why I'm going to take you and Tommy and even Jonathan, if he wants to do something different one year for Christmas.
God forbid. That'll be the year.
But things could change. He's got like a fun.
The year Jonathan does something else for Christmas, we all are going on international vacations. We're all just like leaving the country. Like that's what's going to happen. Or at least you and Dad should. You guys would be like.
We would. But peace out. we're out for like a month. But I do, yeah. So we have a different kind of tie to it because of that. But I think that I want to have that feeling that I had on that Christmas. I want you to have that before it has to be a snowstorm or an external force triggering it. So listen carefully, Tommy and Jenna. I know that they're going to listen to this. Just listen carefully, because I'm not even lying, and Dad feels the same way. So we're both on board for how it's going to be okay changing moving forward. I know I have other friends that have kids that are that are far away too. So I know they're struggling with this.
I feel like my dream is to like have everyone come to like California for a holiday and like have you all here, because it's always like, I know it's going home for the holidays and like always going there, but I'm like, I feel like it'd be so fun because then it makes it like a trip for everybody else. It's like we do like we can even do like no presents, just like come to the West Coast and we do like a West Coast week, and I feel like that'd be so fun.
That would be fun.
2025. I'm starting the campaign now.
You can start the campaign. And I know that it's going to be so different for, like, maybe it's going to be me and Dad and Jonathan come and Tommy and Jenna are doing something different. Like it can't be now like a new mandate of something.
No.
It has to be.
I was just saying like it would be a nice offering to invite everyone, and like whoever wants to do that, it would be a nice option where it's like, I don't know. I don't think it needs to be like a mandated, but just as a change it up, as in like we've always come to the East Coast, so maybe people could come here as like a change of pace and a different experience. Warm weather.
Funny, I was just talking to you about maybe doing even a January trip, but that's like we're talking about two different things. But I think I do agree, and I think that new ways of approaching the holidays, and I think that Europeans may think very differently, because I'm just going to say, because European families, I happen to notice something I'm not even going to call out any creator on this, but I've happened to notice something where a couple posted about how our kids are going to take care of us when we're old, just like we took care of our parents. And I was not going to say anything about that, but I just think that's another cycle that somewhat needs to be broken. Like, you don't have kids so that they can then be your nurses as you age or something. Yeah. I don't agree with that. Separate topic for another day.
Yeah, another
but
day.
But I don't think that should be an obligation either.
We're breaking cycles.
I know, we're breaking the right.
Who knew when I decided to go to Michigan for school, this was the domino chain reaction of effects?
I know, but it's like, in a way, it's great, because it's great for everybody to be guilt-free and joyful, and not just like you can be joyful and you could be enjoying it because you're not here, but then you're feeling guilt about it. Like, no, let's eliminate the guilt. Let us break the guilt cycle. So of all the cycles, it's not about the holiday cycle. It's like, let's break the guilt cycle. That's the core of it. Because it'd be guilt on anything. Holidays, it could be guilt on any traditions.
True. I feel like I always
broke it.
I was going to say, we can maybe talk about some funny Thanksgiving things to like wrap up the episode. But I was like you were talking about your most memorable Thanksgiving. I mean, you said Christmas, but I was thinking
it was Christmas, but it's a holiday. Yeah.
Most memorable or chaotic Thanksgiving memory. And the thing that I really remember is in high school, Thanksgiving weekend was always basketball tryouts. And I feel like, I don't know if Tommy might feel this way, just absolute dread for like the Friday after Thanksgiving, because it was like the first day of tryouts, and I was just like terrified and I hated it. I mean, I ended up quitting basketball after like the second year because I was just like, it was such a bad environment. But I just remember that being very specific to like some Thanksgivings, because I remember on Friday I'd have like, and there was like the 2-a-days, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday it was 6 basketball things, and it was, suicide runs, whatever, the sprints, and like I'd be sore and I was like hating life.
Wow.
So not like a happy one, but I just like was trying to think of like memorable things that have happened on Thanksgiving. I was like, oh my God, it used to be basketball tryouts, and I was like miserable.
Wow. Julie, I'm so sorry. Wow, that's so sad. For you, I'm sorry that that's a childhood memory. That is tainted holidays for you. That says a lot. But it's like, how could I have not? And I've never even known that. And that leads me to like other families with kids. They're probably not even aware when their child is impacted by something like that during a holiday. You don't even think about it.
It's like it's hard because it's like I loved playing basketball, but I just hated the high school basketball environment. Like that was like the worst part. But I feel like I'm trying to think of like more happier, chaotic Thanksgivings. We always went to the parade for like a good chunk of time.
Yeah, the parades, that was crazy. That was another thing, like, why did I do that to myself? But it was good memories, and Jonathan has great memories of those. Like, it's all he talks about still to this day. So it was important, but my goodness, we got up at like 5 a.m, got you kids in snowsuits, and we went, I don't even know. But it was fun, and it was an experience. I'm glad we did it. But it did add a lot, because sometimes I'd be cooking. I'd have to put a turkey in the oven and then go to the parade. Not easy.
I feel like we never really did Black Friday. Like that was never really like a thing. It was always just like stay home.
No. Okay. Hey, raising my hand on this, because I'm not a fan of like when everyone else is doing a thing, I got to run out and do it. I'm like, I would rather not save the $5 to not have the stress. You know what I mean? So I'm about like, if I got to pay full price to have less anxiety, I'm in. I will work harder. And I will do it. So my memory, this is like a memory that I have still of like holidays, that Carmen was always done Christmas shopping like before Thanksgiving. And I literally would hear that and it would almost make me internally ill. Not because like great for her, great, like wow. But for me, I would be like, I am a loser. I will never catch up. I will never be able to do this.
Oh my God.
And then I would have immediate like 0 to major stress about.
I have a memory about this, a funny one, and maybe Olivia or Galen, if they're listening, might remember this.
Oh yeah, they listen. So don't make Carmen feel bad if she's not listening.
No. It's not a bad.
No, I mean,
it's
I'm
like,
just
it's
saying
funny.
because
Because it's so impressive, and I'm pretty sure Steven's mom does a similar thing where she goes shopping with one of her friends like in November, and they get all their Christmas shopping done before Thanksgiving. I feel like that's how I would be. But one year I remember at Thanksgiving, it was like middle school. It was the era of the Juicy Velour tracksuits.
Okay.
Do you remember this?
I don't remember this era.
Juicy
but
Couture.
Juicy
was
Couture
like really big in middle school for me. And Galen and Olivia were like asking me if I liked the Juicy tracksuits, and I was like, ugh, no. Like those are so ugly. Like I don't understand why people are wearing those.
Oh no.
And apparently they were asking because Aunt Carmen had bought me a tracksuit from Juicy, and they were like trying to get intel, and I was like, I felt so bad afterwards.
Did she end up giving it to you? Or
I think she ended up giving me something else, because I think Olivia might have told me, or I don't even know. Someone told me after the fact that I was like, you know, at Thanksgiving when we asked you about the Juicy tracksuit, yeah, it was because Aunt Carmen had bought you what?
That's so funny. That's so funny. And she was so on it, and she was always so ahead of it. And then she would ask me, like, what do they want? And I'm like, my head was not even in the game yet. I've always been more of a fly by the seat of my pants, or more last minute. I work better under pressure. I also don't.
You do work
when I
good under pressure.
I do. But when I do things too far in advance, then as it gets closer, I see things that I would have rather gotten, or, you know how then they'll put out things and I'm like, oh, that would have been such a better gift. And then I end up making more work for myself because I would be returning something to get the other thing. So, I mean, we all have to work how we work. But I just remember when I would hear that and I'd be like, oh, dear God, I'm never going to be able to be this. Like, it was like a standard I could never reach for myself. And I just had to just accept that about myself, which I did accept that about myself. And so, no, don't feel bad, Carmen. I do accept this about myself if you are listening. I just would hear that and be like, oh dear, now I have stress because I better get going. It was almost like she would jumpstart my engine.
Yeah. We could do a whole Christmas episode later in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we should.
But
my God, we could talk about this forever. The holidays are a hot topic.
I'll keep going with my Thanksgiving themed questions. Favorite Thanksgiving, I'm going to do dish and dessert because I like to separate the two.
Oh, good. Let's separate them. So
and you could even do it by like what you like to make, even like your favorite thing to make. Because I feel like
okay.
I'll let you answer the question however you like.
My favorite thing that I make to make and eat, I guess, is the stuffing. Same. It's like my signature dish. I love it. As a matter of fact, I even asked Tommy, "Do you want me to make it?" And he's like, "I'd like to try my hand at the stuffing." And I'm like, "You go." I think he's made it before for a Friendsgiving, so I think he's down for the stuffing. And because they always watched my YouTube videos during the pandemic, he even knows how to make my stuffing. Yeah. So I love making stuffing. I love eating the stuffing. I love having it for leftovers. It's a recipe that's tried and true. Carmen and I were talking about this only 3 days ago. She called me about something else, and we were talking about the traditional, how that stuffing recipe because she uses my stuffing recipe and how it's tried and true, and she'll never deviate. So that's kind of cool. And then I've always been known for the apple crumb pie, and of course because during my TikTok rise to fame, that was one of my most viral videos in the baking arena. So it's still my favorite. I still love making it, and I don't even enjoy eating it as much as I enjoy making it.
Wow, interesting.
I really don't. I'm not an apple pie gooey. I don't like apple desserts in general, but everybody loves the apple crumb pie, and I just don't. I'd rather have chocolate for dessert, like a chocolate cake. I don't know.
I feel like I also like to make the stuffing, and it's my favorite. I feel like for me, the stuffing, it's very like methodical of like toasting the bread and chopping it into cubes. And like, I just think I really like that part of the process.
It is.
And then I think the other, like dessert wise, I think I got into like making pumpkin cheesecake, and that became like my thing maybe.
Do you cook the pumpkins, or do you buy the pumpkin stuff?
I buy pumpkin. I don't have time
you
for
could
that.
so
I
cook
just
the
get
pumpkin.
Canned pumpkins.
What do you? Wait a minute, Julie. Okay, hold on.
I know
you just take
always
a little
cook the
pumpkin, you cut it in half, you turn it upside down, and put it in a baking pan. That's it, and then put it in and just peel it out and put it in a.
But is it better than the canned? Like they already.
Yes.
Okay.
The canned pumpkin tastes like canned pumpkin.
Okay.
Please, I beg of you, step it up, baby. It's literally cut one in half, turn it upside down put a little water in the bottom of the baking dish, and let it bake for like 45 minutes till you put a fork in and it's smooth. Scoop it out, put it in a food processor and blend it, and you have like fresh, much tastier pumpkin than that canned stuff that tastes like a can. I will never make a pumpkin. Mom, you gotta raise. I'm raising your standards. I'm raising your standards.
God forbid. God forbid.
God forbid.
Oh my God! The other day I was. Sometimes the Italian comes out because I was working on. I'm into puzzles. We didn't really talk about this. I'm surrounded by puzzles. You can't really see it. But I was working on a puzzle, and I would get sucked in where I end up doing it for like 30 minutes, and I don't realize that like all the time has passed. And I went the other day, God, I have so much other shit I got to be doing, or something like that. And I like said it with such like a thing, and Stephen was just like, "What did you just say?" I was like,
okay, well, so this is funny because my Jersey accent doesn't come out as hardcore. I know you think it does, but the other day I saw my friend Kim from Kelly. So Kelly and I were friends in high school, and then Kelly's friend Kim I met in college, and then Kim and I got really tight. And I said this to Kim the other day. I'm like, Kelly is really a good person because she did not get upset when I got tight with you and you were her friend. And so we then me and Kim would hang out, and Kelly never got upset. At least as far as I know, she was never upset about that. And then we would hang out, the three of us, but then sometimes I would just hang out with Kim because we had different things in common that we did, and no one ever got offended. So this is what I kind of love about my friend group. There's nobody getting offended. Like if I
what about the accent?
Okay, so the accent part that's funny is that I haven't seen Kim in years, and she is North Bergen. Okay, Bergen County has a whole different set of accents than the rest of New Jersey. I'm sorry. And I wish I could do her accent, but she is so like, my friend, what the fuck? Like when I saw her, she actually even said something really funny where she told me that one of her friends follows me on Instagram and said, "Oh, I feel like I know Helen because I follow her on Instagram." And she goes, "I told her, she my friend. She my friend." She did this thing like that's so Jersey. And I was like, hilarious. Kim. And it's so funny because then I said, Kim, don't you see that's one thing Kelly never did. She never said, oh, don't hang with her, she's my friend. Or she never got offended that we started to hang out more when it was like she introduced us in the first place. Because I think in this day and age, if you did that, it would be like somebody stole your friendship or something.
Yeah. And
we never had those feelings. So true friendship is when you don't care if your friend hangs out with another one of your friends. That defines true friendship, I think. Nice. Just saying.
All right. Well, my last question, I guess segment, fun activity. I don't know what to call this, but I was saying that we should do a little back and forth on what we're thankful for, but make it funny. Like obviously, like family, a roof over our head.
No. Let's do the thankful. Like I want to do the thankful things, like the real thing, which is, okay, I'm thankful to be healthy. So let's just, let's put that one aside. Now we can get to the funny stuff. Because I never was able to say that. I've never been able to say that before with such power, I think, behind me of like, really, I know what that means now. Whereas before, I think it was just the thing you say, like thankful for our health. No, now I'm really, really thankful for my health, like more so than ever. All right, you ready? What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my puzzles.
Oh, that's a good one.
You go.
I'm thankful for my social media followers.
I knew you were going to say that. I could have said that for you. I almost said you're going to say you're thankful for your followers.
I'm thankful because it's not like they're followers. It's like they're comrades now. Like they're my friends. They're my support system. And I think I'm just thankful for that. I think I'm just thankful for the whole thing. I should say I'm thankful for social media because how it has changed my life. And so that's attributable to
we're doing
if I didn't have.
We're doing funny, comical
That's a funny answer. Isn't
Maybe
it?
you're like, it gave me so many opportunities.
I'm thankful for my TikTok.
Goodness. Maybe this isn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. I had a vision of it being funnier, but maybe it's
That's okay.
too.
What else are you thankful for? Let me ask you then.
I mean, I was trying to think of funny things. I'm grateful for a nice chocolate chip cookie. When you have a good one, it really makes you happy.
I'm thankful that I have I guess, I don't know what the words are, but the power to buy things in twos because I love this sweater and I bought it in two colors.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
I'm thankful that I have the capacity that I have. Oh, and it's like that I've allowed myself because I think growing up it was like, you have to pick one. And so now it's like, I don't have to pick one. I could get them both.
Buy it in two colors.
Everything's
That's how you Christmas shop too. It's one for someone else, one present for someone else, one present for me.
Oh, without a doubt. Dad just said, how am I going to buy anything for you? Every time you go out, you buy something for yourself. I'm like, exactly. You don't have to buy anything for me. I bought these shoes wait a minute, I bought them in twos in the same color because I wanted a pair for the city and a pair for the beach.
Oh my God.
So I didn't even pick different colors.
That's
I have things in twos. That's a good one.
What else? What's a good one? I'm thankful for.
I think this is fun. Let's do another fun one.
I'm thinking. I didn't think through enough.
You should be thankful for something that you don't even know you have such a skill beyond everyone else. Making an invitation in 5 minutes flat. It should take me 4 hours. I'm thankful for you because you can make my invitations in 5 minutes flat.
Oh my God.
After I spend 4 hours trying to figure it out.
That's a good one. Thankful for Canva.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. It's because user error.
I hate when people shit on Canva and they're like, it's just so templated. I'm like, no, it's just so templated because you don't know how to do graphic design. Like I can make things look like they were made in Illustrator on Canva because I know how to do graphic design. I just like doing them on Canva because then it's like, it doesn't take 15 minutes. It doesn't make my laptop sound like it's going to take off and go into outer space.
Oh my God. It's good. So do you have a thankful for, or should I go again?
I mean, I just said Canva.
Go on and on.
You can go.
Oh,
I said Canva. You go.
All right. I'm thankful that we're monetizing the studio now, and it's finally
God.
like giving me like something after 4 years of time invested. I'm like, oh, this is finally going to be something that feels like I'm working with purpose. So that's a good one. Anyway, what else you got? Anything else?
Thankful for our new car. After the car accident, every time we get in the car, we're like, the car's so nice.
That's so nice. I can't wait to ride in it. That's why I got to get out there.
The car. Every time we get in it, we're like, it's so nice.
That is so nice. Yeah. Okay. Do we have anything else? Let me see.
Oh, I'm thankful for a good journal notebook. It's so hard to get a good one, and then when you get a good one, I had a notebook once. I had a notebook.
All good. Okay.
No. No. If you think they're all good, then you have a problem.
Any notebook's a good notebook in my book.
No. You need good paper quality. You need to make sure the pen doesn't bleed to the other side of the paper too hard.
Okay,
you need a good size. I found a notebook at Target maybe like a year or two ago, and it's been one of the best notebooks. I went back. I got one for comedy, and then I went back because I ran through that comedy one. They discontinued this notebook. and I was trying to buy it on Amazon, and it was like $24 for one notebook that used to be like $8. And I'm like, I have to find a new notebook. This is tragic. So be thankful for the good notebooks and the good pens you find in your life.
All right. I like it. I like it. I'm thankful for my Awala, and I lost it and I can't find it. I think I might have left it at an exercise class, so I have to order another one. But
Order
I
it
love
in
that
2.
water bottle. I should have ordered that in 2s. The one thing I didn't order in 2s, I got to get that. So I do like that in case.
I'm thankful for an AirTag.
Oh,
That's a good
why?
one.
Did you lose something?
No, but I can't keep any track of any of my shit.
I thought you lost something. I'm like, did it save
No.
you?
I got one on my keys. I put one in my luggage when I travel. We got one. We have one in our car, so that when we park in a big parking lot and we forget maybe where we parked, that's a good one.
That is a good one. I think my Tesla tells me where it is, though. I don't know how to use that feature, so I think I never noticed. It tells me where to find it.
Tragic. You don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe we could do 1 or 2 more.
I got one. I'm thankful I know how to sew. I'm thankful that Grandma,
that's a good
in
one.
her heyday, had the wherewithal and the time, which I have no idea how that happened because she was always busy doing a million things. But she sat me down and taught me how to sew. And the first time I learned how to do a stitch on the sewing machine, I wanted to make a dress for my doll, and I got so pissed off because I couldn't go from 0 to an amazing seamstress in 3 hours. I was very upset. She'll never forget it. She always reminds me of this. Like, you remember when you tried to make the dress and you were so mad? I'm like, yeah, I remember, because you reminded me 42 times already. But yeah, I am thankful because I recently took on the task of making Halloween costumes through the years. And I am not by any stretch the seamstress she is. I'm a slap it together sewer. Like, I don't have the right thread. Fuck it, in plain English. I did it with the wrong thread. I used sailcloth thread, heavy thread, to sew these curtains because I wanted them done now, and I didn't want to wait another weekend or go get the thread. So whatever. I'm not,
that's a good
I'm
one,
by no means perfect, but I am thankful I know how to sew because I can do things like when I want to do them.
Amazing.
I'll end on a serious one if you want.
Fine.
I'm thankful that we work together.
Aw, that's a good
Because
one.
I feel like it's a good thing that, number one, she's wearing the socialized sweatshirt. I think it took us 2 years to figure out what we're doing. We always knew what we were doing, but now it feels like we're doing it with purpose, intention, a vision, a plan. And I'm so thankful I get to do it with you. This is so much fun. And I know we've been through periods of stress where we were questioning, what are we doing? And is this going to ever work?
Yeah.
And how are we ever going to figure out how to monetize this business? And how is this going to work? And I wouldn't be able to do it without you because you're like the backbone of my creative strategy and the thinking. And I mean, we are perfectly complemented, and I am grateful every day that we get to do it.
Okay, fine. We can end on a serious one. That was nice.
I'm sorry. But it's true. And I also think that it helps us I think a lot of other mother-daughter relationships, they maybe talk every day, but we have to talk every day. We have to make time to work talk, and then we still make time to socialize talk. I mean, wait a minute, socialize is work. Accidental pun. But the other day we had a Zoom that we were going to do for work, but we ended up talking for 2.5 hours or something on this Zoom forever. We talked on there, and we were talking about random stuff. And it's like, so I don't think if we had that Zoom, if we didn't have that Zoom for work purposes, we might have never gotten into all the other stuff. And I'm just thankful for that. I think that's so cool.
Me too.
Yay.
I guess we can end it there because that was nice.
I think so. Happy Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Before we wrap it up, one more question for you because I want you to have the last word.
Okay.
Are you thankful for anything else?
I'm thankful for all of our podcast listeners. Thank you for listening to our podcast. We appreciate you for tuning in. We really do.
We really do, because if you weren't listening, we'd probably end up not talking. We'd have our Zoom calls, but it just wouldn't be the same. Thank you so much for caring about what we have to say and for sharing when you reach out and talk to us about the podcast. I get a lot of messages, and I know Julie does too, and we greatly appreciate it. So thanks for being here, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Yours truly,
Helen and Julie.
Yay! That was a fun one. I love that we talked this out, and we talked it out in real time. Gosh, unexpected.
Thanks for listening. You know where to find us on the socials. Drop us a review.
drop us a review, drop us a comment, and then we're excited because we'll be talking as the holiday season progresses. Maybe we'll take more holiday themes into the topics coming forward, and we'll see you soon. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.